What's going on, everyone? Tanner Poppitt here of Madrost and Poppitt's Corner. Just reminding you that our new record, Charring the Rotting Earth, is now available at NoLifeTomatoRecords.com. That's right. Just go in the search bar, type in NoLifeTomatoRecords.com, and support. Again, NoLifeTomatoRecords.com. Now, let's check out the episode you came to see. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Poppitt's Corner. I am thoroughly excited about this specific episode in question. This is going to hit home to me personally a little bit more than, my esteemed co-host, Mr. Shannon Fry. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm a little nervous and intimidated and excited and all those things. I'm starting to feel like you last week when we did the the top 10 Avenger of Blood songs. So yeah, this will be fun. I'm excited. So what are your thoughts going into this?
This one was very hard for me because all the songs are killer. Every single one. There's it's so intense, man. Well, I'm gonna say one thing that I look at when I'm into metal, when I listen to metal, is the heart and the soul. Some bands are missing both. Madrost has both and more. So that's all I'm going to say before we get started because this is intense shit.
So we decided to do a top 10 list of our top favorite Madrost songs. Obviously, me and you are coming at it, looking at it at very different angles, but hopefully we can still meet in the center of things and look at it objectively in terms of the songs, rather than the history behind some of them, or where some of the players were at recording them, or turmoils in the project. So yeah, I'm gonna put all that aside and just focus on strictly on what's presented on the record. So if you're ready, man, I'd love to get started and just talk some shit. So,
All right, let's do this.
all right.
So you want to go first or should I? You know what? I'll go first. I'll go
okay.
first because we're talking about your band. So I'll go first.
Okay.
All right. So number 10 is off the Charring the Rotted Earth album, which to me is just insane. And this song is called Pulverized. This is a meat grinder to your face. Everything in this song is just amazing, man. I love your drummer. I'm just going to say that right now. I think your drummer is one of the greatest drummers in extreme metal. I can't really, there's thrashy elements to Madrost. I wouldn't call you guys necessarily a thrash band, but there is a lot of thrash influence in Madrost. With Pulverized, man, you just, it's like I said, man, it's just a razor blade to your face. The guitars are just, the vocals, your vocals just rip, man. They're just so like angry. And I just think this song is a great one to start with because of all that. I think it's the best I can say, man. Just a brutal ripper, Pulverized.
Interesting. So that song, that's more of like a I would say kind of like a hardcore punk song or grindcore, I would say, because when we were writing it, we literally just got done recording the Essence of Time record, if you can believe it, and it was during those sessions that we wrote Pulverized, and we were just fucking around. Me and Mark were, and I wrote all the riffs and put them together, and we just kind of played it. And I'm like, you know what? We need to have like a grindcore song for Nick, because Big Cat, our guitar player, is a huge grindcore fan, and we don't have a lot of grind in our songs, or maybe we do, or maybe we don't, but like a full on, just kind of straight to the point kind of grind song. Let's write one and see what happens. And that's where the basis of that one started. And it's the only song so far that me and Mark were in the same room writing it together, and just kind of jammed it out in a rehearsal. So very interesting. I would not expect this song to make a top 10. So that's fucking awesome.
Right on.
So that was our tribute to Big Cat. So all right. So my number 10. Wow, this is tough. Is going to be off of the Essence of Time Matches No Flesh record. This was obviously the record that we're kind of known for at this point. One of many, I would hope. But this was kind of like our breakthrough album, and the song is from Sand to Dust. It's a it almost has this like kind of dynamics within the song itself. A lot of double bass, and pretty much a lot of double bass throughout this entire record. But we were just so pissed off of like inner turmoils that were happening around this point, and we were finally hitting our stride with the songwriting and just taking it to the next level. And I think this song especially has more weight behind it than some of our other ones, or maybe not, but in my opinion, I love the structure of it and the clean interlude bridge to it. So that's my number 10 from Sand to Dust.
Very cool. The next one is again off the Charring the Rotted Earth.
John the Rotting Earth. There you go.
And it's the title track, Charring the Rotted Earth.
Charring the Rotting Earth. There you go.
Again, man, you know what again, it's a pulverizing, going to the last, Well, anyway, man, again, the vocals are just razor blades in your throat that are belting into the microphone. I think the guitar tone on this album is just unreal. I love the distortion. I'm a fan of heavy distortion. And to me, this one of the greatest guitar tones ever on this album. Seriously,
Wow.
I think this is just one of the most outstanding tracks off this album too. So, and again, man, there's the drumming, the bass, man. When you hear the bass coming through on this song, it punches you in the face. I really like this. I really like that album, and I really like that song.
I'm honored, man. I don't know what to say. I'm kind of speechless a little bit. With this track in mind, obviously, like again, maybe I'll get to it in a few minutes here. So I'll save what I'm gonna have to say. But awesome, that
Awesome.
rules. So yeah, I think on the Charring the Rotting,
Rotting.
rotting, not rotted. Just in case people out there were confused on it, Charring the Rotting Earth. I think this bass tone is just probably the best bass tone that Madrost has kind of ever had in our career so far, right? But yeah, it's awesome that you picked up on the bass, because Richard never gets the recognition I feel he deserves too. I mean, him and Mark, without them, there is no foundation, and we need that foundation. So, yeah, so mine comes off of the Charring the Rotting Earth release as well. And I don't mean to boast too much about this record, but because not just because it's like our latest one, but it's my personal favorite Madrost album. And it's the opening track, the Serpent's Quest. I just feel it's a great opening track to take pretty much a record in general. I mean, you kind of have to have that like kind of slow build up, kick you in the teeth, and here we are kind of thing. So yeah, the Serpent's Quest I feel is just a great opening track to just a metal record in general. So there you go. All right, number 9.
Nice. Number 8 off the Essence. The Essence album, The Essence of Time Matches No Flesh. And the song is No Future. And if you were to listen to this song, you're basically feeling there is no future. Because, oh man, again, it's just a ripping, raging album, a ripping, raging song. I think this is another really good album. I think the production on this album is really good for what it is. I mean, Man, the drumming again, amazing. The vocals are amazing. I love the riffing. I love the texture of this certain song. Seems to really, I don't know. When you were listen if you were to listen to the older albums and then you listen to this one's like a rebirth, if I may. Uh Now, like, I don't know exactly the past of what happened, and that doesn't really matter up to this point. But I think on this album, you guys are really starting to show what Madrost is really capable of. Before you did, you pushed it and pushed and pushed, and by the time you got to this album, the essence of time, I think, is when you guys really came into your own, and I think this song really sets that standard. So, yeah,
Interesting. Now, this song that you're mentioning, for one, it's my dad's favorite Madross song ever, um,
wow,
and it's also it's heavily influenced by Metal Church, heavily. I mean, to the point of like even the clean tone on it is like very "Watch the Children Pray" because that's again, Metal Church is my favorite band ever. So I think with this song, it was written during the Maleficent era. It was supposed to make the Maleficent album, but it never did because we felt it was just a step here, and kind of all the Maleficent tracks were like kind of here. So we didn't want to put a song that like was here and then like everything else was kind of here on an album. So we had to kind of like wait until the timing was right. And I felt like with the essence of time, the timing was right. It fit the other material that we were writing, Eyes of the Deceit, Dimensions, and From Sand to Dust, right? So I just it just fit more with that specific vibe. So we incorporated it into the Essence of Time record. So some little backstory for you.
very cool.
All right, so we are at number 8. My number 8 choice. It's off of the Into the Aquatic Sector record. This is the title track. This is Into the Aquatic Sector. I always felt like this was one of our stronger points in the band's career. We were super pissed off, or at least I was, even writing the whole record and whatnot by myself. And yeah, I had a lot to talk about. So the essence, sorry, Into the Aquatic Sector. There you go. I'm like hung up on the essence. So there you go.
Right on. Okay, down to number 7. This one's off Charring the Rotting Earth as well. And this is the song Impossible Dreams. Mm, there's just, wow. I love everything about this song. I love everything about it. I love the texture of the song. I love how aggressive the song is. I think this is, I could almost move this up, but I'm going to keep it where it's at. But absolutely, man. Impossible Dreams. Just amazing. Just amazing.
Interesting choice, man. That's awesome. That was the first song that we had written, me and Big Cat, for the Trying the Rotting Earth record, minus Pulverized, because Pulverized was, doing the essence, right? So technically that is the first track we wrote, but Impossible Dreams was the first that me and Big Cat got together on and had like 80 riffs to it. So that's the reason why there's so many riffs in that specific song. And that's awesome, man. That's really cool to hear. So
Right on.
all right. So I'm gonna go off of the man, all my picks are coming off of our last 2 records. And it doesn't I don't mean for it to happen this way, but um I'm gonna go with the start off track, the lead track off of the Essence of Time Matches No Flesh record, with Eyes of the Deceit. This is like kind of the new start to the band's sound, and especially with that, I remember writing the clean section at the end of it over the constant kind of just like ripping face melting double bass and riffing really high, like doing pre-production and kind of like saying, hey, what do you guys think? And the other guys kind of just loved the idea and we just rolled with it. So this is kind of like our hit single And yeah, I still dig the track. So Eyes of the Deceit.
Right on. Because now that you say that, it kind of segues into the same for me. That is my number 6 song. Of The Essence of Time Matches No Flesh. This is a song that I think when you were talking about how Believer is one of your biggest influences, I think this is one of the songs that really show that. It's just another ripper, it's another rager, but it has some Believer type riffing in it that I hear, and I think the vocals come across the way Kirk Bachman sang. I think he kind of rubbed off on you a little bit there.
Sure. And
So,
I hadn't discovered Believer until after the Into the Aquatic Sector record was
wow.
already came out. So yeah,
Okay.
this was
Interesting.
like right during that specific phase. So yeah, of course, there's going to be some of those influence in there, and I'm not going to deny it. So, you know, Believer's a great band.
Right? Hell yeah, man.
Well, that's awesome, dude. That's fucking awesome that you picked up on that. So, all right, so we're at number 6.
Right.
So I'm going to go off of the Into the Aquatic Sector record, and with the track Operation Xenomorphic Protocol. This was always one of my favorites from the band. I just love the groove of it. I love the riffs. I love how chaotic this specific track is. It's almost like our tech death song of the whole fucking Madrost catalog, because it's you don't even know where it's going, but it makes sense. So it's very chaotic, but it makes a lot of sense, I guess. And even listening to it now, I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking writing this? And but hey, whatever. It's it has some good textures to it, and obviously it's yeah, just a technical track. So it's one of the strong points on the Into the Aquatic Sector record for me.
Very cool. So, my next number 5 is the title track to that same exact album, Into the Aquatic Sector. Man, this is this is more of the thrashy, uh, the thrashier Madras songs, as opposed to upping the ante and make it even more crazy. How Madras became with the following albums, but I think this one really shows that Madrost at the time fit into that coming of the new wave of thrash. I think this was right along those lines. I think it really kicks ass, man. This is a really strong song though.
Oh,
Obviously it's a strong song because it's the title track to the album, so
well, it should be the strong point, one of the strong points to the record. Yeah, and we never ever put ourselves into the new wave of thrash metal, um, genre, because we were never accepted by that genre, unfortunately.
mm,
Um, but it is what it is. We just kind of did our own thing, and I'm kind of grateful that we did that way. But yeah, it's great choice. This was the kind of like our first outing in terms of like branching off into just not doing like, I don't know, standard kind of thrash or death kind of songs. This was like more of like a journey, like a Master of Puppets kind of vibe to it. So you got the clean section during the middle of it, and it takes you just on a journey, and that's what I love as a songwriter. Is taking the listener kind of on a journey. You don't know where it's going to go, but you take the ride anyways, knowing that it's going to kick ass.
mm-hmm.
It's going to make you kind of escape from like real life, right? And I should also mention this too. This album is a concept album. I'm not sure if people picked up on it, but it is a concept album. It's about underwater aliens. It's a whole like kind of journey kind of album. So there you go.
Right on.
So all right. So my number 5, and I gotta show this one. My buddy, my best friend in the whole world of like 20 years, his name's Taylor Leno. Had this in his collection, and I didn't have a copy of this. Right, this is the very first pressing of this album. Like the first, there's only 100 of them pressed. So if you kind of, hopefully, I don't know if you can see how like this is darker than this,
Yeah.
right? Right. So this coming off of the Maleficent album. I just want to give him a shout out there. This is Under the Hammer. I've always dug this track. I've always wished that we kind of brought this song back. We haven't played it in 10 years. I just always like the mid-pace kind of vibe to it, and it's kind of a nice break from being smashed in the face, at 160 miles an hour. So there you go.
Right on. Hell yeah.
And it's a demo days song. So that's from the demo days that we kind of had to put on the album.
Very cool. All right, moving on to my number 4 off the Into the Aquatic Sector album, Operation Xenomorphic Protocol. Just as you mentioned earlier, it's just a barrage of fucking blasting in your face, really technical, really insane. Not much more that can be said that you haven't already said, so it's a brutal, very brutal,
Oh, I
very brutal.
appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Um, so my number 4 comes from the Maleficent release again. I'm gonna show that one. Obviously, there you go. We'll show the reissue there from No Life to MetalRecords.com, which you can pick up now. Um, and the song is the leadoff track. I'm going with Crypt Keeper again. This is another demo song from us. Pretty much Maleficent, all it is like all of our strong demo songs encompassed into one album, and that way we can kind of move on from the demo stages and start making actual records, right? But yeah, this I've always felt this is a strong song from us. Yes, I get it that it's the riffs are kind of a little standard and might sound like other people's songs, but I mean, I was 16 when I wrote it, so you can't give me that much flack for it. I think it's still a ripping track, and this is one of Matt Harvey's favorite tracks from us. So
Nice. Right on, man. Okay, moving on. We're at number 3. This is the opening track off Charring the Rotting Earth album, The Serpent's Quest. This one is very, very cool to me. I think this one really exemplifies to me what Madrost is all about in one song. If you had to say, pick one song to show somebody what Madrost sounds like, it would be The Serpent's Quest. It's brutal. It's got some cool riffage. I like the breakdowns are cool. It goes through some not exactly a huge roller coaster, but it has some hills and some drops. And man,
sure,
when it goes, it hits. It's nothing like this before, man. So I'm loving it. The Serpent's
I'm honored,
Quest.
man. I'm honored that people are that you're digging the Charting the Rotting Earth record, because the newest record for bands sometimes isn't the best. Sometimes people are only locked on to one specific album from a band. So I appreciate this.
Hmm.
All right, so let's go with my number 3, and we're going to go off of the Essence of Time record, and it's the final track off of it. I felt like this encompasses pretty much all of Madrost as well in one song. This is Dimensions. Starts off slow and goes into the nice kind of chuggy riff, and then straight blast in your face. I love the solo to it. I loved writing this specific solo. On the fly, and yeah, to go back off of onto the Eyes of the Deceit kind of thing. I want to preference this too. With Eyes, I remember writing that solo high as a kite. Of course, that's how the record kind of came to be. But it's a one take. That's a one take solo. Is the one in Eyes of the Deceit, which is why it sounds the way it does, for better or worse. Now with Dimensions, we took a little bit more time and kind of we didn't have anything written down, so it's like, fuck, what are we gonna do? And so we kind of pieced something together, and that's what the solo section 2 Dimensions that's the way it came out, and I just think it's a cool kind of closing track for a record that's kind of so revered in our catalog. So there you go, Dimensions.
Nice. Okay, I'm on number 2. And again, this comes off the same album, Charring the Rotting Earth. I, I think I have the majority of my songs are off that album, because I think it's such a strong album. But this particular song, I think, is one of the best Madrost songs ever. This one to me leaks and bleeds believer. I love how you guys can go into this piano thing and just go with it. And then as the guitars come in, it's the exact same way. Not the exact same way. It's very believer esque, so to say. It's brutal. It's definitely brutal. The riffs are killer. The vocals are killer. But to be able to launch off into some piano stuff when you're not expecting that, I definitely wasn't expecting that. And to me, this man, it's just a masterpiece. So
I'm
there
on it.
you go, man.
I don't even know what song it is, but that's
Dying
awesome.
thoughts. Dying
Oh,
thoughts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
cool. That's fucking awesome. That's the song we just played a few months ago when we had our last show, and it went off like a hitch, man. That's a cool
Nice.
song. That's more death. I would say that's more kind of death metal in the Madrost kind of camp. Um, we're kind of almost steering away from like the thrash scene, but yeah, cool, man. That's awesome. Wow, was not expecting that one, man.
Right
So
on.
okay, let's see where we're at. We're at number 2. This track for me is kind of like almost a I would say it's a grower of a song. You know how bands kind of have grower songs and whatnot. And this is definitely one of them. This is a violent end to life. This comes from the Charring the Rotting Earth record. I've always felt that this track has so much weight to it, and I hopefully we can play this song live. I love the riffs. I love the vocals. How I kind of made the vocal sound on this specific track, and it's just one I always go to. So yeah, violent end to life.
Nice. My top favorite of all time, Madras song. This was one I hope you guys still play. And if not, I hope you bring it back. And if we ever play together, this is a song that I would want you guys to play. And that's the song Frozen Beneath the Soul, the snow off the Into the Aquatic Sector album. To me, this is a ripper and a rager. It's definitely a thrasher. I'm going to say that. It's definitely a thrasher. But to me, and the video, that is awesome too. I have to throw that one in. So if you haven't seen the video, you need to check that out. But this is my favorite song by Madrost, man. Frozen Beneath the Snow. It's
Interesting.
the riffing is amazing. The vocals are amazing. The whole song, man, is really, really, really cool.
Now, some fun facts about this specific track. It was written as the last song for the record. We didn't have enough songs on the record, and this is I call this song the Frankenstein of the Into the Aquatic Sector record because it was literally all my leftover riffs, and it just kind of fit together. So I put it all together and made a scratch track for it, and had the other guys essentially learn it in the studio. So what you're hearing is like some of their first time kind of playing the song. Like we didn't rehearse this song at all. It just kind of made it onto the album. It was just there because we needed we needed one more track to kind of just solidify, a cohesive package. So that's awesome.
Awesome.
And for the record, I got a lot of flack for those vocals. I can tell you that much.
Did you?
Yeah,
Man,
for the
well,
high pitch
see, that's what I
vocals.
like though. There's fucking you put your Tom Murray into it, you know? They're good. If people don't like it, hey, they're missing something.
Oh, you know how it is, man. Records grow on you from over time. So very cool, man. I was not expecting that. So my favorite track, and I know it's as cliche as possible, but it is my favorite Madrost song ever so far. Is the title track to the Charring the Rotting Earth record. In fact, there is a video for the Charring the Rotting Earth title track. So that says it all right there, right? Our first music video in in 10 years pretty much. So obviously we like the song, or I like the song enough to you know, to do a video for it, and obviously the guys did as well. They all like this specific track. I think because, excuse me, we did the keyboards in a way that like made sense, and it just like I can't unhear that in the song. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, where rather than, I mean, you know, to prevail the wicked and dying thoughts, yeah, they had keyboards, but they had it over kind of like distortion riffs, and you didn't. It was just kind of like kind of thrown in there, but it worked. I felt with the title track, putting the keyboards over like the cleans and just kind of building it up rather than it just kind of being over on top of a riff. It built into like this kind of grandiose kind of epic that Madrost doesn't have a lot of. And so for that reason and that reason alone, with the killer clean tone, because I love clean tones especially, yeah, this is my favorite Madrost song ever so far. So there you go.
Very cool. So now you know my Drost rules.
I'm honored, man. And same Avenger of Blood. So, dude, I want to thank you again for coming on the show. Make sure to stay tuned with us, and we'll have a killer topic, obviously, on the next week's show for you, or a killer guest, one or the other. We'll see. But make sure if you don't have any of the Madrost records, No Life Tomato Records.com is the place to go for all that. And Shannon, thank you so much again for doing this with me. I really appreciate it. So,
Hell yeah, man.
another episode of Poppitt's Corner. I'm out of here, guys. Cheers.